All right, I am joined right now, ladies and gentlemen, by Bill Kristol, founder and editor of the Weekly Standard, ABC News contributor. Hello, sir.
Hey, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. Did you do your duty, civic duty, and vote?
I'm a Virginian. I grew up in New York. I grew up on the West Side. Bella Abzug was my congresswoman. My first couple of times voting, I voted against her and futilely voted for various Republicans and conservatives. But then I moved to Virginia. I thought, hey, okay, I'm finally in Virginia. I've got Republicans to vote for. It's a Republican state. And, of course, once I lived here for a while, the whole state's gone Democratic, and we have a Democratic governor and 2 Democratic senators. So I'm kind of a jinx, you know?
Oh, yeah, well, I don't know. Hopefully not. All right, so let's talk about what you expect to happen. The polls closing in New York State in 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours now. I mean, of course, what we're looking for is Donald Trump. How much will he win by? What share of the 90-plus delegates will he get? What do you think?
I mean, the big question is, most of the polls show him over 50%. I think it would be a surprise and a blow to Trump if he were to go below 50. He wouldn't get all 14 of the winner-take-all state delegates. And, of course, a lot of the congressional districts, if he's above 50, well, all the congressional districts, if he's above 50, he gets all 3. If he's at 45 or so, he gets 2. And Cruz or Kasich gets 1. He could even lose a couple of districts in Manhattan, I suspect. I don't know. I mean, I was there last week. Everyone there seemed, I don't know. A lot of people there seemed to think Trump was going to do very well. And, of course, he's been consistently ahead in the polls. I was at that dinner Thursday night, the New York State Republican dinner.
Yeah.
And there I talked to a bunch of politicians. Now, maybe they're a little out of touch because they're elected officials who mostly weren't pro-Trump. And they were thinking, I don't know, someone from Westchester told me he thought Kasich could do well in his district. And so I think it'll be interesting. The polling has been pretty accurate this cycle, but at times Trump has done better than expected, and at other times a little worse.
And on the Democrat side, I mean, the polls show, interesting, that the most recent national poll, Wall Street Journal yesterday, showed nationally Hillary by 2 over Bernie, but in New York, double digits. You think that's going to hold?
I don't know. In Michigan, she was ahead by about that, and close to that, and Bernie surprised her, and he did well, better in Wisconsin than the polls suggested. I'll tell you, my only anecdote there is I was staying in a hotel, actually, in various reasons, down like 27th Street, near 7th Avenue, and when I was in New York last week on various business things, and walked around the corner to get a coffee around 6:30 in the morning to think about the editorial I had to write over coffee, and I'm sitting there, and 7 Grams coffee shop, a cafe, I guess. Of course, it's a fancy place,
Yeah.
so it's a cafe. Quite good coffee, I've got to say, on 7th Avenue in Chelsea.
There's a free plug. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, that was free plug. The check will be in the mail from that place. And I don't know how many patrons of the 7 Grams Cafe in Chelsea are listening to the show or watching the show. But anyway, a nice guy walked in, recognized me, and we were chatting. And he said, I don't agree with you, but, I respect you. And I said, what's going to happen here in New York? He said, me and my friends were all for Bernie. And it was interesting to me, this guy was 45, he was well-dressed, he was getting a coffee on his way to work in Midtown or maybe in Wall Street. We've actually chatted about schools a bit, and his kids go to a private school. We're talking about how hard it is in the city. I mean, I'm just amazed that this is worthy of a longer discussion. I mean, a lot of people who are making, I'm going to say, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year probably, right? And whose kids who go to private school are doing well in America are voting for Bernie Sanders.
Don't they get it?
I find the Sanders phenomenon even more amazing than the Trump one in a way,
Yeah, no, I mean, I had Ron Darling, the former Mets pitcher here, and he said, I feel the burn. And it's like,
is that right?
Yeah. He said, I said he's going to take 90% out of your money. I mean, don't these people understand that? I don't get that. I want you to hear something. Much has been made by Trump, with the RNC and the rules and everything. Listen to this NBC News report about Pennsylvania, which has 71 delegates coming up. Here's what the reporter had to say.
And that is indicative of where he and his campaign see this race going, to Pennsylvania, where they're looking to make a play for these unbound delegates. Even if they come in a distant third, a top campaign aide tells me, they will still, they believe, pick up more than half of the delegates there. They're looking at more than 30.
And she's talking about Cruz. Now, I know that's the rules. I understand, Bill, it's the rules. And again, maybe I've just been lax all these years, previous presidential campaigns. But you got that happening. You got the story today, Washington State, Sanders wins 73% of the votes, and Hillary gets most of the delegates, all the super delegates. I mean, there's just something doesn't seem right. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I could defend the rules and a delegate-focused process as opposed to a popular vote, simple process. But people haven't really thought about it for decades because it hasn't been an issue. So I think people are a little surprised. And I think, honestly, the Cruz people, whom I respect for paying attention to detail and hustling and working hard for every delegate, even if they didn't get all the votes, they shouldn't. Why are they talking about it? That just seems to me to be stupid. I mean, they shouldn't be secretive exactly. Why are they boasting about something that is going to rub a lot of people as being a little dubious? And anyway, the results are the results, right? If you get the if you get the delegates, you get the delegates. If you're playing a good hand of poker, play the hand. Don't say at each card, boy, I'm playing really clever here. I like Cruz and would have voted for him if I had voted in New York today. But the way his campaign boasts about their cleverness, I think, is foolish.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But you're right. People are now aware. If whatever comes out of this election cycle, people are going to be aware going forward and frustrated that their vote doesn't mean much at all in the primaries. Bill, great to talk to you, sir. We'll see what happens, and if you go back to that coffee shop, let me know if they actually saw this.
Yeah, we'll do, Steve. I'll chastise them if they haven't.
All right. Thank you, Bill.